Vine's POV. I was seated in the canteen, intensely concentrated on finishing my project on my laptop. I randomly glanced up to take my eyes off from the screen for a moment, and my gaze fell on Jungkook. There was different kind of sadness that I have never seen before. Still didn't move on from me? Teasing eyes. I did. The day I saw Tae loving you more than me. Looked down, taken aback by his blunt response. He doesn't love me. Again shifted her focus on her laptop. You are blind. You can't see it. It doesn't mean that his love is not there. Spoke gravely. Placed her hand on his forehead to check his temperature. You don't have a fever. It means you are mentally sick. Again went back to do her work. Ryan, in the past when I saw him taking you away from me, I felt jealous and made poor choices that badly affected you. But he never did anything to hurt you. There were many occasions when you were struggling alone and I failed to understand your point of view, but he was always there for you. He was there to annoy you, gave him a done look. Still, he never left you alone. You didn't acknowledge his presence, but that doesn't mean he wasn't there. Thinking hard. But why are you telling me this? He paid you to do this, didn't he? Suspiciously looked at him as he is some kind of criminal. Sire, I'm just playing the role of a good best friend, and you are a... Yeah, scoffs. First sort out your love life, then think about mine. Make fake angry face. My love life, chuckled sadly. You know what's ironic? Whenever I develop feelings for a girl, she ends up getting married to someone else. Try loving guys instead. Said without thinking, but upon realization, her eyes widened. Gasped. What are you saying? Gary's getting married? Unable to believe. Looked down and nodded. And the groom is not me. So what are you going to do about it? Asked in shock, feeling bad for Jungkook. Stay single for the rest of my life. But she is my first love. Mumbled the last line in pain tone, but Vine heard it. Yeah, he loves you too. Good to know. Said in a sad tone. Vine smacked him on the shoulder and yelled at him. Yeah, do you have any senses? Why do you always give up so easily? Glared at him. I tried to make you run away from your wedding, but did it work? You wasn't sure about your feeling, that's why I didn't run away with you. And my feelings for you were more of like those of an obsessed friend. If I loved you truly, then I would have run away with you. So, if you are about to marry another guy and Taehyung asks you to run away with him, will you do it? In a heartbeat. Gasped loudly and put her hand on her mouth as she realized what she said. Laughs and point towards him. Told you love that legging. Don't change the topic. Serious. You should not leave her like this. father is a powerful businessman. If I tried to make her run away with me, he would catch us in no time, rubbed his face in distress, just stared at him with her infamous blank expressions. But no one knows what is going in her evil mind. After college, I walked back home, and on the way, I was continuously thinking about my alien. Jungkook was right. I am blind because I failed to see the pure love in Tae's eyes and in his actions. He turned the all-time depressed me in a happy person. I don't know what magic he did, but now I don't think negatively like I used to do. My ego was not letting me accept him, but now I have made up my mind. As I entered our home, it started raining cats and dogs, and the mansion was awfully quiet. There can't be peace and quiet until Taehyung exists. What's wrong? Where is he? I don't know, my heartbeat went wild. I started looking for him throughout the house, but when I couldn't find him anywhere, no response. I took my phone and called him a few times, still no response. Now I'm feeling like going crazy. His absence is making me restless. I started looking for him again and ended up in our room once again. I checked in the bathroom as well, but he was not here. I left the bathroom feeling frustrated and my eyes drawn to the paper on the drawer. Precious, if you return home and happen to read this letter, then just know that I love you and I am sorry. Since childhood, I watched over you, often from afar, hidden in the shadows, knowing that I must not intrude upon your world. Yet my heart yearns to be near you. My love for you knows no bounds, and I am possessed by the need to protect you, to shield you from any harm that might come your way. That's why in the cave, I only sought to keep you warm, nothing more. And I didn't do that thing with you, got it all wrong. Losing you would shatter me, but I can't look you in the eyes knowing that my presence is suffocating you. I know you have chosen to leave, but please don't say it to my face. I won't be able to hear it. That's why I'm leaving. Leaving you because my presence is causing you pain. I leave because I know I won't be able to stay away from you if I live near you. I beg for your forgiveness. Judging from his writing, it looks like his hand was shivering while writing. There were also tears drop stained on the paper. What the hell is he thinking? But it's my fault. I made him think this way. I have to find him. What if he does something stupid? This thought made a current of panic run through my veins, and without wasting a single second, I rushed out of the house. Ryan searched for him everywhere like a wanderer in a desert for a drop of water. Thanks, Beauty. Crying in the rain has its own benefits. No one can see your tears, and you get some company to cry with. Unable to control my feelings anymore, I found myself breaking down all at once. All kinds of negative thoughts are running through my mind, but she refuses to leave my heart and mind. That's how she felt when I separated her from her love. This is my punishment, I guess. I want to put an end to this life. I want to end me. Looking at the Han River, I sighed heavily as my mind was telling me to put an end to this suffering, her suffering, my suffering. Raindrops suddenly stopped pouring on me, and a voice gave me shivers. Don't you dare to even think about doing anything stupid. Warning tone. I looked back with a hope in my eyes, but when I saw her icy aura, I immediately turned around and tightened my grasp on the handle of the bench I was sitting on, as the small hairs on my body stood up in respect just by having a look at her. He came up to the front and sat next to me, nudged his arm gently and politely asked, "Why are you crying?" "These are not tears. These are raindrops." Rubbed his red nose with his face. "You have 5 seconds to leave. If I catch you, you are done." Her tone suddenly turned cold. "Huh?" Looks at her confused. "Wasn't he the one who said that he won't leave me even after all of that? Where is that time? What did you do to him? Huh?" Pushed him a little by his shoulder. "Tell me." I looked at her in shock and burst into tears. Ryan let him cry for some time, and some tears slipped from her eyes as well. But she controlled herself and said, "5, 4, 3, 2." Looked up at her in shock. "Are you serious?" asked in panic tone. "Any doubt?" Raised her eyebrows. I hurriedly stood up with an innocent expression on his face and started running in opposite direction from Ryan. But Ryan quickly grabbed his shirt and spun him around to face me. "Now decide your punishment," stared at him, lowered his gaze and bit his lip. "Sorry, not so easily." Saying this, Ryan and his body stiffened in shock. Rain continued to rain on their bodies as Ryan moved. Ty regained his wrist and grasped her by her waist, pulling her close in him, fully attaching their wet bodies, leaving no room and deepening them. They were so engrossed in the moment that they didn't care about the rain, but both flinched hard and detached as the cloud thundered. Mother Nature wants us to stop, laughs along with that. "You love me too? You never told me." Cubed her cheeks with his both hands and gave her a boxy smile despite having tears in his eyes. I'm a woman of actions, not words. Smiles. Pulled her into a hug, catching her off guard. I love you, precious. Never leave me, please. Closed his eyes and felt himself getting relaxed in her embrace as he finally found his peace in her. And the child is yours. He broke the hug and looked at her happily, but as realization hit him, he smiled vanished. But I didn't do anything. Nah, you did it in the cave. Now don't abandon our baby and take the full responsibility. But Ryan, believe me, nothing like this happened. Confused but still trying his best to understand. Then why were we naked? You got rid of our wet clothes and slept while hugging you. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Cutely glared at him. You weren't listening to me and believing me. Sadly stated. Oh, sorry about that. I panicked. Awkwardly laughed. But how can you become pregnant by a kiss? Asked confusedly. Oh, I lied about that. To get the truth out of you. Scratched the back of her neck in embarrassment. I gave her the done look and pat. Now you have 5 seconds to go. Are you going to kiss me as punishment too? Then I am willing to embrace my penalty sincerely. Shamelessly spoke while bringing fast and making fun. I can do a lot more than that. Intensely staring at her. Vine opened her eyes and her eyes locked with the eyes of damn serious wet time. Her cheeks flushed and she started running in the opposite direction of him, hiding her first shoe.